Here are the top posts from Who Would Win on the 9th of November 2019.
Cream Fortress 2. Yugi Muto. Yu-Gi-Oh! Daniel J. Darby. JJBA. Kaiji. Yumeko. Kakegurui. And James Bond. Casino Royale. At a series of card casino games. Keto Gamer. Yugi can literally control the rules of probability to ensure he wins. He also has 2 souls, so he can use that as a backup against Darby. Or to trick High Monsieur. He also has experience with playing death games. Yugi is the king of all games, not just duel monsters. He wins every round handily.
Litten in a scarf. Just be glad that Yuma from Zexal isn't on here. The guy can literally create the cards he needs, warping them into existence. A truly powerful duelist can shape the outcome of a duel. He can even generate the very card that he needs to draw. Go Shining Draw, or change cards that we already knew what the card was, to a different card. 1 card left in the deck. It was a Barian card. Go Zexal Power, no longer a Barian card and is a blanket field negating rank up magic. War Storm Rage. Yugi takes all 6 main rounds. He has probability manipulation, which would allow him to change any outcome into a favorable one. Although we mostly see him as the king of duel monsters. If you've watched S-Zero or read the manga, you would know that the title of King of Games isn't just for show. He has won many types of games, and is probably the most versatile out of all the contenders here in the type of game he can play, putting him in an already massive advantage. Adding to that fact that most of these games are card games and he can manipulate the odds of the other contenders having the first few shots in Russian roulette being ones with bullets and his being the 5th or 6th, this just makes it unlikely that anyone else wins.
Prince Weeb 900. Goku is chosen to train other fictional characters. Who does he train the best?
Void Dragoon 2. Beginning of series. Naruto refuses to even learn in school. He'd probably avoid Goku's highly physical training for 2 years and gain nothing. Wayne would either be too sad or too enraged. Goku wouldn't train someone just to kill. He'd spend most of the 2 years mentally stabilizing and getting lectured. Luffy would barely know what he's doing with the rubber, and even Goku would be dumbfounded. He'd probably absorb some of it. But martial arts were not intended for rubber men. No guarantee he could even use ki properly. He's also fatally weak to H2O. The other 3 would at least try to learn. Fresh Spidey is weaker than CA because of his personality. Would be still weirded out and trying to control his powers. Constantly doubting himself and not especially motivated to practice martial arts. Cap is probably too prideful, but after getting trashed a few times would probably put forth legitimate effort to become stronger. Deku is probably the weakest person on this list, but he'd absorb it all like sponge. I can be a hero. So he'd probably end up winning just from taking the 2 years seriously and reaching Krillin tier.
The Lost Karma. I think Goku will be a lousy trainer there this week. Goku trained Oob to fight him on par, so he can get stronger. If he was forced to IDK to save the world, I think Naruto will stomp. 'Cause he has more ki than everyone else combined.
Chicken salads. That's a tough one. I haven't watched Naruto, so I can't say for that one. Deku could definitely be a good disciple, but it depends if it is set in MHA or DBZ. Like if Goku can train him to shoot lasers, balls, etc. Similar to Krillin, I would say Deku would be the best due to his motivation, but only if it is set in DBZ. Bruce Wayne is a definite no. Goku wouldn't make him as strong as who he has become on his own. Luffy is just a no. I think Captain America is probably the best candidate. Spider-Man not so much. I think his abilities just doesn't suit Goku's training style. so I would say Deku would win if this is set in the DBZ universe. If not, then Captain America.
Kaiju Media James. Skullcrawler, Kong, Skull Island, vs. Smaug, The Hobbit.
Lazarbeam. Smaug is much larger and breathes fire along with being capable of flight. Skullcrawler was wounded by a flare. I think he'll suffer horribly from Smaug's fire.
Nick Cinco. Smaug could beat every monster on Skull Island. None of them have the damage output necessary to kill him, Monsieur.
Chicken Salads. You know how big Kong is in Skull Island, right? He is like twice the size of Smaug. Kong easily wins this. SSBB Nichewing. Mike Tyson vs Helen Keller with a twist. Slight second. There's no way Mike Tyson could lose. He can see Helen throwing the flashbangs, so he knows to look away. Helen's only real strategy is to stab at random places. Beat Crush. Hello, good people of whowouldwin. One of the representatives of the Pack Discord in favor of Mike Tyson. Here, Helen has no immunity to the concussive force of the flashbangs. So she can't just throw all five feverishly without suffering effects herself. She has no knife training, and her blindness, deafness puts her at a serious disadvantage in any CQC. Furthermore, her tremor, seismic sense is near nullified due to the room being a 20x20x20 trampoline room, putting her at further disadvantage. All Mike has to do is either see that SHES attempting to pull the pin on one of these flashbangs, and take prone cover to wait out the mild blinding and deafening effects of the flashbang. Since HES a heavyweight champion, he will be able to withstand, recover the concussion blow aspect of the flashbang. All he has to do is get Helen on the ground and he can choke her out. Assuming she didn't already lose her balance from the trampoline. Monsieur, have you ever tried to keep your balance on a trampoline when you can't see the kinetic energy? A bouncer's coming? The fight would be over in mere minutes. RECROWN your heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. Not suspended LXQT. There's lots of people here saying it's a stomp for Mike Tyson. But here's a few factors to consider. The prompt doesn't specify HK's age, so it's reasonable to assume this is the most well-known version, which would probably be 21-year-old HK as described in her autobiography, The Story of My Life. A standard-issue military knife would come in a sheath, so the risk of HK accidentally stabbing herself is quite low. When you punch, most of the force actually comes from your lower body and your core, not your arms. Without his legs, MT would have no leverage, so his punching strength is greatly diminished. It should also be noted that punching with the full strength of his arm would likely cause him to spin around and fall flat on his face. So if he misses, it will likely take him several seconds to recover. As noted, HK is not immune to the concussive force of flashbang grenades. But since the prompt says she has trained with them, so it's implied that 1. She would know better than to throw all five feverishly at the same time, and 2. She is given the opportunity to select her preferred type of flashbangs, i.e. grenades with weaker explosions. The fight takes place in a trampoline room. Monsieur, if you've ever been on a large trampoline, you'll know that it's very easy to accidentally trip and fall. Once you fall, it's just as difficult to get back on your feet if everyone's jumping around. And MT doesn't even have legs. If he falls over while HK is aggressively bouncing around, it could cost him precious seconds to recover. HK has no combat feats, but neither does legless MT. in a subreddit which heavily relies on scans. This makes it almost impossible to determine the actual combat effectiveness of each fighter.
Cream Fortress 2, The Stone Mask and William A. Zappili, JJBA, Phantom Blood, spawn in Atlanta during the first season of The Walking Dead. How does this change the storyline?
Guy, I have not seen The Walking Dead, but William A. Zappili was rather strong. He was one of the mightiest Hamon warriors. I don't know how many people are in the survivor group, but if there's a lot of them, he could easily train a Hamon clan and the vampires and walkers are likely annihilated. In the bonus, is Jonathan at his full power from the end of Part 1 JoJo? If he is, I think they can still take it. If he isn't, without Lord Speedwagon the timeline is too sullied and Dio wins.
Keto Gamer, how does the presence of the mask change anything? The walkers won't put it on. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.